first lot of sustained strike action that teachers have taken since the 1980s. But just let me remind you, in the 1980s, it was Margaret Thatcher we were taking on, right? The woman who wrote the Tory playbook on trade unions, right? We took her on in the 80s, and we won. Are there any teachers here today who were teaching in the 80s who took that strike action?
Yes.
Great, more about you later then. But you know, they did. They took that action in the 80s, and they won. And they won, you know, against a formidable opponent. But please let that be assured you, we will win. We will win. We will win against Shirley Ann Somerville. We will win against Nicola Sturgeon. You know, they can use the Tory playbook all they like, but we will win because we are united in this. So striking is always a last resort, right? As Polly mentioned, none of us want to go out and strike. We would all rather be in our classes teaching our kids. But this is so important that we have to take this action. But this has come after a whole year of us campaigning against for a decent pay settlement from the Scottish Government and COSLA. They have had chance after chance to halt this, and they have refused to take it. So remember, if all of this action, if it all feels like it's getting you nowhere, please remember this. Up until September, the only offer that was on the table was 2%, and that had been after us. We launched this pay deal, we launched this pay claim, way back in February, I think it was, right? So we've had all that time where we were telling it, and before we launched it, we'd already told the Scottish Government, when we come back next year, we're coming back with a bigger pay offer. You know, we took that terrible 2%, something or other last year, but only because we knew we were coming after them with a bigger pay. They knew this was happening. They've had plenty of opportunity to halt this, and they haven't done it. Okay, so that is why we're taking this action. But since we've campaigned and we've won our statutory ballot, our consultative ballot, our statutory ballot, that has what brought the second lot of offers, right? 5% in the, I mean, who knows what kind of offer that was meant to be. But the only reason we got them was because of the action we're taking now. And there have been increased talks, right? But so far, not one extra penny has been brought to the table. So, but you know, don't let Shirley Ann Somerville's rhetoric when you see her in the news talking about how disappointed she is in us and all the rest of it, and how she's all about getting that compromise and all the rest of it. Don't let that fool you. She is well and truly rattled by this. And as my comrades have said earlier on, the public are 100% behind us. So let that go. About our disappointment in us ramping up the action. She's made all sorts of niceties about wanting to talk to us, but you know, we're really sorry, Shirley Ann, but we want action. So talk won't pay our mortgages, it won't pay our fuel bills. As I said, the Scottish Government have called 2 SNCT joint meetings since the 22nd of November, but they haven't brought one penny to the table, and an executive we agreed on Friday that we will have no more of these talks until they bring an offer. So there's to be no more talk without action. Okay, so there has been a lot, as we've heard from our other speakers, from Roz there's been a lot of anti-TU talk coming from Westminster, but it is important to remember, as Roz said, being part of a trade union is part of your human rights. It's part of what it means to be part of what it means to be in a democratic society. The right to take collective action. Any government who seeks to undermine that democracy, any government who seeks to undermine that democratic action does not care about democracy at all. There's also been a lot of rhetoric from the Scottish Government about democracy with regard to independence, but the unions who are taking democratic right now, well, let's say the government have shown decidedly selective enthusiasm for that democracy. So let's be clear then, in the EIS, we represent 65,000 members, individual teachers, and that's 65,000 voters, workers, taxpayers, parents, carers, citizens, and of that 65,000, 78% of them, 78% of you, me, we voted in our statutory ballot, which is an amazing testament to the work done by reps and activists and employees of the Institute to really get the message of the campaign out. But we voted, we took part in that, and of that 78%, 95 of us have voted. 95 of us voted to take the action that we're taking today. All right. So this is true democracy. This is democracy. And if the government are as keen on democracy as they say they are, they must listen to us. We are the people of Scotland, and we are speaking, and they must listen. So let's remember, why are we doing this? Well, first of all, we know, a lot of what I'm going to say now, you know more than me. Teachers' pay has been devalued by 20% since 2008, despite our pay win in 2018. And if we don't get a pay rise that's in line with inflation, our wages will be even further eroded. And we're in the middle of this cost of living crisis that we didn't create. That's all still here. Prices are still rising. Teachers are still facing in-work poverty. People are really worried about their mortgage prices and their fuel bills. None of that is going away. The majority of teachers are also women, and I think that's quite plain when I see that when I look out among you today. We have an education system which, like the NHS, seems to be financed on the basis that the women, it's not all women, but the majority of the women who work in these will just keep going. We will bear the emotional burden of the costs. We won't let the kids down. We won't let, we need the money too much to really take too much action. Well, they have not banked on the power of the women in the EIS. The gender pay gap in Scotland is still 10%. Women continue to be overrepresented in precarious and part-time work, and they are still underrepresented in promoted posts across the board. So if the government are as committed to closing that gender pay gap as they say they are, they can start with us. And nurses and all these other professions that are mainly made up of women. So, again, as has been alluded to by our other speakers, education, we know, is entirely underfunded. This continues to cause stress in you. It's what is contributing to unsustainable levels of workload as teachers spread themselves far too thin to make up for the shortfall in ESN provision.